The Authors Forum exists to inspire success. We will talk with authors and others in the publishing industry to bring you essentials and advice. Dr. Veronica Isagui is your host for Authors Forum.
Welcome to the Authors Forum. I'm your host, Dr. Veronica Isagui, chiropractic physician in West Linn, Oregon, and the author of the Scoliosis Self-Help Resource Book. Today I have with me a very special guest, T.L. Cooper. She is the author of a fiction book called All She Ever Wanted.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Nice
Welcome
to be here.
to the Authors Forum. So tell me, T.L., can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I certainly can. I was born in Tollsboro, Kentucky and raised there, and I was raised on a farm where I spent a lot of time reading and eventually started writing and found that I loved writing. I loved putting my thoughts into words and putting that on paper for my classmates to read and for my friends to read. And so I've been writing since I was a child. And I have a degree in Corrections and Juvenile Services from Eastern Kentucky University. I've worked in several jobs, and I'm a full-time writer at the moment.
Wow. Can you remember your very first story you ever wrote?
Very first story I ever wrote. Well, I can tell you about the very first story I ever told.
Okay.
My grandpa was instrumental in that. He had me, I was sitting on his lap, and the men were all talking about their farms and different things, and my dad started telling him about a groundhog that lived in his barn, and my grandpa said, well, I'll come down and shoot that groundhog, Dean. And I reached up and grabbed his chin and said, no, Grandpa, you can't. And he looks down at me and he says, why not? And I thought for a minute and said, because he just started school. And so then I went on to tell a story, and my grandpa would ask me questions and get me to tell all the details about it. And so I did this for several years. Every time I'd go up to my grandpa's, he would start with, I'm going to shoot that groundhog. And then I would tell him a reason that he couldn't, and he would start asking me questions to save the groundhog.
How old were you?
I was about 4 or 5 the very first time.
Wow, that's
so
incredible.
I started trying to save the world, I guess, at a very young age.
Talk about having words in your blood, you know, it's like everything was being created at the moment, you know. You're born with that special gift, I guess.
I guess.
I understand you not only write fiction, but you also have written some poetry.
Yes, I've written some poetry, and some of my poetry has been published.
And is it on your website?
No, I don't really put poetry on my website. There is some poetry available online, though.
Online? Okay,
yes.
So they could get it online.
There's one poem on the first page of my website, but that's the only one I keep on
Did you bring a poem with you by any chance?
Oh, yes, I certainly did. I can read it for you if you'd like.
Okay, that would be awesome.
Okay. The title of this poem is Trapped, and it appears on protestpoems.org. Living in our own little worlds, ignoring the pain outside, rewriting our role in destruction, focused on our own trivialities, blaming others for the mistakes we make, avoiding our part in the solution, pushing our beliefs on others, avoiding the truth before us, shifting the story to fit our needs, running from our responsibilities to others, turning a blind eye when it hurts, feeling the pain only when it hits home, wishing someone would fix it, until we embrace our role in the world, our responsibilities to humankind, the impact of our actions, the interconnectivity of the world, the story outside our daily existence, we will remain trapped.
Wow. There's a lot in that poem, and I love it. That is awesome. So someone could read it on your website, or you have a special...
On protestpoems.org.
Okay, protest.